Good morning and welcome back to Keep Moving with the Senior Center. I'm Amy Beck, the Director of Senior Services here in Hopkinton, and I'm here with Jessica McNult, the Assistant Director. Good morning, Jessica.
Good morning, Amy. How are you?
Doing well, and I hope you all are doing well as well. The Senior Center, as you all know, is still open to the public and continuing to be open to the public, I should say. We are open Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 4, and or Monday to Thursday, 8:30 to 4, I think, where I'm extending our hours, and Friday, 8:30 to 2. And so we'd love to have you come in. I know that if we have some time a little later, we'll talk about what's coming up next month in March. But as always, our newsletter is the greatest source of information. You should be getting that in your mailbox. And if not, you can check online. And if you have not been receiving a copy, please give us a call and we can help you make sure you get on our list. Our number here at the Senior Center is 508-497-9730. So we have a great program as always. This morning we're talking about tax relief, and we have in Hopkinton any number of programs. I have two people with us this morning, Chris Haymans, who's the treasurer collector in Hopkinton, and John Neese, who's the principal assessor. And we're going to start with Chris because Chris has a really great program. It's called the Senior and Disabled Tax Relief Fund. So good morning, Chris. How are you?
Good morning. I'm well. Thank you for having me.
So can you tell us a little bit about, because this is a fund that you can explain much better than I can. So I'm going to let you do all the talking on this one.
Sure. So thank you again for having me on. As Amy mentioned, I'm the treasurer collector for the town, and I'm just going to briefly go over the town's Senior and Disabled Tax Relief Fund. This was established in 1998, and it aims to assist elderly and disabled residents with their tax bills. As anyone who has taken a look at their recent tax bills know, housing prices across the state have been rapidly rising, and as such, so have real estate taxes. And Hopkinton in particular has been affected due to its really favorable location near Boston and its top-tier school system. So while this growing tax revenue is certainly helpful for the town budget, I recognize that it can also be a serious financial hardship for the town's senior citizens and disabled residents. So to that end, today I'm hoping to make more qualified residents aware of this program and to offer my support to any residents who may need assistance with the application process. So just quickly going over what the requirements are for qualification. Qualified residents will be 60 years of age or older, except for the disabled applicants for whom there is no age restriction. Will have an annual income of $45,000 or less for a single person, or $60,000 for a couple occupying the same home. We do also ask for asset information, which can be considered, but we're not placing any limits on it this year. The applications themselves, we're looking to finalize them today. Actually, I have them right here. Paper copies will be available at the Senior Center. I'll get those down to Amy, and also here at the Treasurer Collector office. We've set a soft deadline for March 31st, so we'll begin seriously considering the applications. However, we will review applications through April 30th. I should mention that this program is entirely funded by donations. We do have a marathon runner this year, which is great, and he will be fundraising for us. And then every year we have been receiving a very generous donation from the New England Laborers Trust Fund. That said, anyone else is welcome to donate. There is a slip that comes in the mail with your tax bills that you can just fill out and donate that way. And you can also make an online donation in the same place where you would pay your real estate tax bills. So that's it. That's all that I have for this program. I hope it was helpful. Always happy to engage with residents on any questions they may have. You can find my contact information on the town's website. And I welcome anyone to swing by Town Hall. We're the first thing you see when you walk in the front door. Thank you again, Amy and Mike, for this opportunity.
Well, Chris, thank you very much. And, just as a reminder, everyone, if you have questions, please, you can reach out to the Senior Center, but also Town Hall is a great resource. And they at the window there where you would pay your tax bill, if you'd like to go in, would certainly be able to help you fill out applications and navigate the process. And just one other quick thing, is this a program that can be added to other tax relief things, or is this a standalone?
It is a standalone. If folks have applied for and been approved for the circuit breaker application, we can use a number of the documents that were provided for that. That's a new improvement for this year. We're hoping to cut down on residents having to submit the same paperwork twice.
Right. And I guess what I'm trying to say is can they double it up with another tax
Yes.
relief thing okay. So that's
Yes, it does
important
not-
to know that if you get one tax relief program, this one can be in addition to, and that's a huge benefit to anyone who needs it.
Absolutely.
Great. Well, Chris, thank you. Chris.
If I could, I just have one clarifying question.
Mhm.
I know some of the programs have a stipulation that you have to have lived in the town for a certain amount of time. Is that the case with this program, or is it anyone that meets the age and income criteria?
Yes, so you must be a Hopkinton resident and have lived here this year, but it does not have a past requirement like some of the other ones.
Excellent. Good question, Jessica. Thank you. Well, Chris, thank you very much for coming on. We appreciate this information. And again, reach out to Town Hall or the Senior Center if you need some assistance with this.
Thank you so much.
So now we have John Neese with us. John's been on with us in the past, and he's sharing some more information about other tax relief programs. So good morning, John. How are you?
Good morning, Amy and Jessica. I'm well, thank you. And good morning, everyone on the program today.
So I know that you have a slideshow to share with everyone about the programs, and I'm just going to let you get right into it. I think you'll answer all the questions, and if not, again, certainly reach out to the Senior Center or to Town Hall for more information. But John, it's all yours.
Thank you, Amy. But please, both yourself and Jessica, feel free to interrupt me at any point, rather than wait till the end. I will move quickly, not too quickly, but I know that we have a limited amount of time. So let's begin. So this is a discussion on real estate tax exemptions and our real estate tax deferral program. All of these are structured under the Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 59, Section 5. So I've used this before, but I've said a tax court judge has said that the whole subject of appraisal or assessing a property is not an art and it's not a science. In my opinion, it's a mystery. So we're here today to try and take a little bit of the mystery out of this exemption and tax deferral policy that some of you might face as seniors. So the Board of Assessors, this is the phone number at Hopkinton Town Hall, 508-497-9720. I'll leave this slide up here for just a few seconds. And this is the email address, assessors@hopkintonma.gov. Our deputy assessor is a woman by the name of Renee Chen. And if you have any questions about the exemption programs or the deferral program, I think the best thing for you to do is to try and reach Renee, since I'm not always available. She'll be happy to talk to you, and she'll be happy to send you information or different applications that we have for these programs. So just a little bit, and I'm not going to read through all of this, but these are just sort of some of the definitions we look at in terms of assessed value being what the full and fair cash value of your property is. The timing for the fiscal year beginning on July 1st and ending on June 30th in the next year. So for an example, fiscal year 22 would have a value of January 1st of 21 and run from July 1st, 2021 through June 30th of 2022. You'll see reference in all the different exemptions to your domicile. That is your legal or principal residence. You can have more residents if you're fortunate to live in Hopkinton and have a second home on the Cape or in Florida or something like that. You can certainly have more than one residence, but you can only have one domicile and only receive the exemption in the community that is your legal or principal residence. And just quickly, an exemption, so that we are clear, is a discharge of an obligation to pay all or a portion of a real estate property tax. So your tax bill is $5,000, you get an exemption for $500, that comes off of the amount of the tax bill. A deferral is not a discharge, but is a delayed action in the payment of a real estate tax that would be paid at a later time, and we'll cover that as we go through. So the assessing department has a variety of tax reducing programs. Most of them depend on a combination of things like your age, your assets, and your income. And again, quickly, so I don't expect you to remember all this, but just an idea of what assets are or what annual income is. And I might remind you that we have put together what we call a senior solutions notebook. That is available online on the town website on the assessors page, and is also available in print at the senior center. So that will describe all of these programs in much greater detail, answer a lot of your questions. And again, we are more than happy to talk to you about these issues. Just a little general information on all programs. And, similar to the question Jessica asked Chris, you need to own and occupy a Hopkinton property as your principal residence. You have to own and occupy any property in Massachusetts for the past 5 years and lived in Massachusetts for the prior 10 years. So if you've just come to Hopkinton and you now own and occupy a Hopkinton property, you might very well qualify for an exemption here as long as you've been in Massachusetts for these prior periods of time. You must file an application annually and you must qualify for the exemption every year because clearly asset information or income information can change over time. So the first thing are exemptions, and to answer sort of one of Amy's questions, certainly you can get the tax relief fund as well as an exemption if you qualify. Generally, you can only get one exemption, but there are also some exceptions to that. So the first one is a Clause 17D exemption. Right now, the real estate tax reduction is $284.95, kind of an odd amount, but this number changes annually based on some information we get from the Department of Revenue in terms of a change in the cost of living. For a senior to qualify, you must be 70 by July 1st of the appropriate year. A surviving spouse can also qualify with no age requirement. A minor who is a child younger than 18 who has a deceased parent can also qualify. And just to read it once, in each instance, your personal estate, excluding your domicile, cannot exceed this figure of $65,131. Again, sort of a strange number, but that also changes annually based on the information that I talked about previously from the Department of Revenue. This is just the first page of what an exemption application looks for. They're not as daunting as they might look on screen or when you actually take it. And I'm not going to show you the whole application, but just to give you a sense. And I'll come back with another comment in a minute, but this is an informational guideline from the Division of Local Services, which is part of the Department of Revenue, on the one that we were just talking about if you're a senior, a surviving spouse, or a minor child. What I really just want you to take away from this slide and the previous slide is that these are the types of things that we have put online and in print in that Senior Solutions guidebook that I have talked about. So you can see the whole application. You can see this type of information that goes on probably for 4 or 5 different pages that outlines the amount of the exemption, the requirements, the assets, the income, and all of those types of things. And again, you'll see on this screen, it says the exemption amount is $175, but because the town of Hopkinton has adopted this exemption some number of years ago and has been gradually increasing that limit based on the cost of living, we are now up to that 284 figure. Next are exemptions for veterans. This is clause 22 under the statute and clauses 22A to 22D. You must be a veteran, obviously, but there is no age requirement, and the amount of the real estate tax reduction varies depending upon the program. As a veteran, you need to have a confirming letter from the Veterans Administration with a minimum 10% service-related disability. You can receive one of these exemptions if you were awarded the Purple Heart in service. A spouse of a veteran will also qualify as long as that spouse remains unmarried. And the exemptions generally range from $400 to $1,000, depending upon which one of these clauses it is, all the way to the full amount of the real estate tax.
So John, I just want to interject here. So if you are a surviving spouse of a veteran, you can still qualify for this, is what you're saying.
That is correct.
So that's really
remarry.
important to know for people to realize that even if your spouse who was a veteran is no longer with us, if you have not remarried, you may qualify for this.
That is correct. And again, I encourage anyone, Hopkinton is, sort of off slide for a minute, but, we need to, send a report into the Division of Local Services every year on the number of exemptions we granted. Last year in Hopkinton, last fiscal year, there were 86 to the tune of just over $140,000 in tax dollars that we abated to residents on exemption. So certainly if you have any sense that you might qualify, you really should call the office, get the applications, talk to Renee or someone, to find out about the income and the asset requirements, because Hopkinton feels very strongly, and the assessors department, the town manager, the select board feel very strongly about granting an exemption to every resident who qualifies under the statute. So. The next one is clause 37A. That is a $500 real estate tax deduction for anyone who is blind. You do need a certificate annually from the Mass Commission for the Blind. The next one is a clause 41C exemption. So the one we started with, the 17D, was about the $285 number. This one is $1,000. In this case, you need to be 65 as opposed to the previous one, which was 70. And there are income and asset limits, whether you are income limits, whether you are single and married, and also asset limits, whether you are single and married. Again, you can see them here, but they're also in that guidebook that we have talked about. And you could certainly get a copy of this from us in print anyway, as a reminder. The next one is called a Clause 18 Financial Hardship Exemption. The amount of the real estate tax reduction really varies based upon the Board of Assessors review and determination. It is unfortunately not granted very often because it really requires the applicant to own the property and be really all of the combination of these factors, be aged, be infirmed, and be impoverished. But we have had some residents who, as a result of a serious medical issue, which we wouldn't want to wish on anyone, have qualified for this type of a program. And then the Board of Assessors on this one really have discretion on both the qualifications and the allowance for this program, but it is something to keep in mind. There is also a CPA exemption if you qualify. I'm not going to read through the first paragraph, but the voters of Hopkinton some time ago adopted a Community Preservation Act surcharge. That's a surcharge, a 2% surcharge on the amount of your real estate tax bill. Everyone pays that, but if you are qualified, you can get a full exemption from the CPA. And again, this application is available and in the guidebook. This is just what the start of that application looks like. And each year we have an explanation of what the household size is in terms of the income limit, whether you are a non-senior under 60 or whether you are a senior over 60. One last program. So those are the exemptions that are offered in the town of Hopkinton. One last program, and we talked about the difference between an exemption and a deferral, is a deferral. We have a clause 41A real estate tax deferral. So again, this is a delay of your tax payment. It is a wonderful program if you are having trouble paying your taxes and if you qualify. So you can defer a portion or the entire amount of your real estate tax and let your estate worry about paying that back when the house is eventually sold. You have to be 65 or older. The income limit is $40,000. There is no asset limit for this program. Again, you can have a $5,000 tax bill and choose to defer $2,500 or choose to defer $5,000 if you qualify. There is interest on the deferred amount, but that's also an issue the estate can deal with when the owner passes away and when the estate goes to sell the property. And let me see. Again, briefly, different things you need to apply. We've talked about applications. We've talked about income and assets. In at least your first year, depending on some of the programs, you'd need a birth certificate. We do need either copies of federal tax returns or copies of your income and asset statements, bank requirements, those types of things. Remember, the qualifying date is July 1st. There's one exception, which I'll touch on in a minute. I think we're getting close to the end of time. You do have to file annually. Once you have been approved, you are on the mailing list and you will automatically receive an application for the following year. So we maintain that list and we send those out in the mail. So the application for the current year has to be received by April 1st of 2022. And if you qualify for one of these, you might also qualify for a water bill discount. And again, please feel free to call. We are always happy to help. The state of Massachusetts has a circuit breaker tax credit for eligible residents 65 or older. That's not a program we administer. You'd need to talk to your tax accountant or your tax advisor. Don't forget the senior tax work program. If you're over 60, you can work for the town, call the senior center, and you will get a reduction on your taxes. Chris talked about the tax relief fund. Remember, as a veteran, that the town of Hopkinton does have a Veterans Services Department. And just one last, so we talked about that. Just one last item that is not included here that is fairly new to Hopkinton, but we've had for a couple of years now. There is a means-tested senior exemption. We went to the legislature and they approved a home rule petition for the town of Hopkinton. That program has a deadline of August 31st. You can also find that application online. But the reduction in real estate taxes for those who qualify for that program has been somewhere around $2,000 per individual for the last few years. It does vary year to year. The select board each fall has to make a determination, and they can grant anywhere from 50 to 200% of what the state has as the circuit breaker tax credit. So if the tax credit in the state of Massachusetts was $1,100, the select board can say, well, we're going to let the credit be 50% or $550 or 200% and be $2,200. And for each of the years that we have had the program in effect, they have selected the 200% option. So I will stop there and thank you all very much.
John, thank you very much. I mean, that's a really extensive list. We appreciate getting that information. And again, you know, if you are curious whether you even qualify for any of these programs, please reach out to the tax collector's office at Town Hall. You can certainly call us at the Senior Center and we'll be happy to help you fill out an application. But you know, check it out because we want you to be able to stay in your homes. And if having one of these exemptions would help you do that, then let's see what we can help you get. And I know that Town Hall is always ready and happy to help. John's there every day. As mentioned earlier, Chris is there also. And then our outreach workers here at the Senior Center are happy to help. But John, could you repeat the number at Town Hall if someone wants to call in and check with you?
Sure, it is 508-497-9720.
Great, thank you.
Okay.
Jessica, did you have any other questions? I mean, we got a lot of information today.
We got a lot of information. I I think we've covered it. I think I'm going to take a check. I'm going to check out the Senior Solutions Guidebook so that I can understand a little bit more in depth. But I think I've got a lot that I've got to soak up.
There definitely is. And again, we're here to help, and Town Hall wants to help as well. So please reach out. Thank you, John, very much for coming on. As always, great information.
You're quite welcome. Thank you.
So we have a couple minutes left, and I know, Jessica, you may want to share things that we have coming up in March. I cannot believe we're already halfway through the month of February. Where has time gone?
I know. It seems like it's flying by, but what is the saying? Your time flies when you're having fun. So there we go. Kind of jumping off of today's discussion, talking about tax deductions and tax exemptions and deferrals. Every Tuesday at the Senior Center through the end of March, we do have AARP volunteer income tax assistance people. So if you are looking to potentially apply for one of these programs, you may need to file your taxes, or even if you're not looking to apply for one of our tax exemption programs in Hopkinton and you still need to file your taxes, we do still have some appointments available. So certainly give us a call, sign up. That is open to anyone in the town. There is a packet of information you'll have to pick up, but we do offer that service. It is a free service. So certainly give us a call if you would like some help filing your taxes.
And just a quick caveat to that, it is, space does fill up quickly. So please give a call if you need help with that. Is there an income requirement for that one as well?
There is not necessarily an income. However, they are volunteers, and so they ask. The goal is to really help low-income individuals. So they do ask if you're someone with complex income situations. Maybe you have multiple properties. Maybe you have multiple investments. That might not be, or this program might not be the right fit for you. That might be something where you want to go to a tax expert and really get really good, really specific information and help. These volunteers are great with working with low-income individuals. And so really that's the goal, is to really target those individuals that are lower income, median income households. So with that, I will very quickly just mention, we do have tons of programs right in our monthly newsletter. Make sure you check it out. It is available online. It is available in the mail. It is available here in person. You can pick it up at the library, the town hall, a couple of other places throughout town. So make sure that you are getting the newsletter. We have some free fitness programs running through the end of this month. And we do also, I will just leave this, we are also still accepting SMUC fuel assistance applications in our outreach department. So another way that you can kind of help save some money. So give us a call to learn about that program.
So time is running short. We want to thank you for joining us. Again, if you have any questions, please feel free to give the Senior Center a call, 508-497-9730. As always, keep moving. We hope to see you here at the Senior Center.